Hello, and good morning, greetings. I know this is a little bit of a late weekly outlook video, but the reason I have been delaying on uploading and releasing the one that what I wanted to see for this week was mainly because of the economic calendar and the place we are currently in price. Let's begin. Starting off with the dollar index. We can see that we have now come from the discounted fair value gap that we were looking at, and I would actually like to see if NFP could possibly create the low of the month inside of this fair value gap. So why I say discounted is because I've measured the range low to the range high, and we can see that the 50% level is that point. So we dip down into the discounted level, and now we are rejecting away. We've actually now created a swing low, and we could potentially expect us to continue higher from here. But at the moment, I'm a bit 50-50 with this, because even though I am bullish, even though I do see a market maker buy model for dollar to clear these highs, I am not convinced with the lower time frame, and I'm not getting the proper intermarket correlation, alignment, and everything. Let's see what that means. So looking at the dollar index, we can see this was NFP's move to the downside. We displaced a few minutes or hours after, and now Monday traded down into discount. We could potentially see this new day opening gap hold for higher prices, but personally I would only be looking for buying opportunities if and when we close above this swing high, specifically this one here from 8 p.m. on Thursday the 2nd of May. So if we close above this swing high, I could then potentially look for buying opportunities to take it to these highs, and of course the buy side liquidity at the relative equal highs up here. Then going through that, we have the highs that complete the market maker buy model. For now, because of the uncertainty that I'm getting, I'm just going to stay out of the dollar index until probably Thursday, when we have the first red folder news event on the US dollar. The second reason why I'm a bit 50-50 is looking at USD CAD. Let's start with the weekly chart. On the weekly time frame, we can see that we are rejecting from this down close candle right here. When you look at this candle from the top, we can see price made the low during NFP on Friday. So we could potentially expect us to continue higher from here, going inside of this weekly fair value gap. We have not even closed. We did not close outside of the fair value gap as well, which you can see there. So this to me is screaming higher prices, right? But if we're working with a weekly PD array, we would like to see a confirmation on the 4-hour time frame. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, let's use the replay button. On the 4-hour time frame, we created a fair value gap with a high probability order block. The reason why this order block is high probability is because it was an order block that took liquidity. So I would be expecting price to come back into this fair value gap and potentially this order block, especially the wick to body, the most sensitive area of this order block. So I'd expect price to come down in here and reject higher. Now Monday's price action played out, and we got a test of the fair value gap, and we dipped down deeper. But even here was still fine with me. I would expect a rejection from here. What I didn't like was what happened afterwards. At this point, we have now disrespected this fair value gap. This bullish fair value gap at this point is now an inversion, because we've closed below it, and we could potentially see price use it as a ceiling or as resistance to push lower to clear this sell side liquidity, which is NFP's low. So looking at the way price is rejecting, we've actually now created a CB, a sell side imbalance buy side inefficiency. So we've now created a bearish fair value gap that price could touch and continue lower. And let's see how price is now. Price is still within this CB. It has not been disrespected as well, but the current way price is reacting in this area is what I'm not really a fan of. So I'll be waiting as well for the USD CAD to close above this same buy side imbalance that it disrespected here. I would like to see it respected again and use it for higher prices, because on the 1 hour time frame we can see that this is a potential market maker buy model, considering the fact that we have this BPR, which is the bullish fair value gap there with the bearish one combined. We can see our price came and filled it up completely, making the low on Monday 10 o'clock, and now we've been slowly grinding away from it. So the 1 hour fair value gap that we are in right now, this one right here, could support higher prices. But again, as I said, I would like to see a displacement to the upside, respecting the 4 hour fair value gap once more, and potentially closing above Monday's high. This will give me the confidence to continue taking USD CAD to the upside. First target obviously will be the initial consolidation of this possible market maker buy model. Going through that, we have the external range liquidity that we can see from the daily time frame. This is where the market maker buy model completes, and that's the external range liquidity that I'm targeting ultimately. So we can see everything here might be screaming higher prices, but because of the 50-50 nature of all the time frames, I'm not really a fan of it. The reason again is because we're getting multiple signals from different time frames. Take for example the daily time frame. We have this fair value gap here that price was rejecting from yesterday. So again, if you want the highest probability setup, you would like to see this completely disrespected. You wouldn't like to see bearish PDRAs being respected or even played around. I would like to see a proper closure above this, then possible bounce off of it to the upside. So right now on the dollar, because of the 50-50 nature that I am having, I would rather stay out of this until I see something more clear to give me directional bias. I'm not going to cover euro dollar and GBP dollar for the same reason. Even though I'm bearish ultimately, I am not seeing what I would like to see to be bearish. So I would rather wait for the Wednesday on GBP and Thursday for the dollar as a whole. So to be safe, give the entire week to print its own price action, wait for Thursday, then reevaluate to see what you could possibly find for the news event. We do have AUD CAD news in a few minutes from now. I mean, well, we have AUD news, but looking at AUD CAD from the daily, I was looking for a possible push down into this fair value gap, and possibly giving it a few days, we might actually create a swing high here. So if this candle closes inside here and the next day candle closes inside here, we'll have a swing high. So we can measure from the high to the recent swing low. Then we could possibly see a tap from the discounted level and a possible tap from this other block here, because we have this small fair value gap the price could use to push up higher, because I'm still looking for any CAD crosses to the upside. For example, Euro CAD, I'm looking for those equal highs there to be cleared, perfectly equal highs. So I'm looking at this down close candle to support higher prices. Same with GBP CAD. We have this fair value gap on a daily. Liquidity swept here at that point, tapping into a high time frame PDRA. So I'm expecting price to use this bullish fair value gap to continue higher to these relative equal highs up here and the buy side liquidity out there. So that's what I'm expecting. Of course, we've got a liquidity sweep as well. So my expectations for CAD crosses are higher prices. So we might get a discounted price somewhere on Wednesday, and then a continuation to the upside on CAD crosses. That obviously includes USD CAD as well. I would like to see the CB getting disrespected. So right now, besides that, I don't really have any clarity on the currency markets. When we move on to the indices, similar price action is going on right now. I wanted to see lower prices. I wanted to see NFP create the high of the month. But now, seeing that price has completely disrespected this CB. Seeing the price is not showing any indication for lower prices, it's actually now creating bullish PDA raise. We have a bullish fair value gap here, and we have a bullish order block here aligned with it. So we could see price trade down into this order block, into this fair value gap, and maybe using some sort of intraday entry model or entry technique like the 2022 model. We might see a sweep in the previous day low, shift instruction on a 5 minutes, confirmation to take it higher and clear the previous day high, or even possibly go to these highs or even the all-time highs up there. So I am open to seeing anything happen here. Again, 50-50 nature on the dollar index doesn't make me too confident on knowing what to take as a play here, but I said I wanted to see lower prices. We didn't get that. Got an expansion on Monday, so we might actually see higher prices from here, unless this down close candle gets fully disrespected. If price trades without even closing, trades below this down close candle at that, like the volume imbalance at that point, then I would look for lower prices. But right now it's screaming higher prices because of this bullish bearish candle or bullish order block with a fair value gap. Even though this isn't a high probability order block because we didn't sweep any sort of liquidity, we just swept the previous 2 days lows before we created it. I'll still be looking for higher prices. Same applies with the E-mini S&P 500 and I believe YM, but YM looks different because I remember on NFP Friday we're supported by this down close candle to the upside. Russell has the same fair value gap that we could possibly trade into, then see price push higher from there. I should also note that this fair value gap with an order block combination is in the discounted side of the range. So taking this from the high of the range, which is the all-time high, to the low that we've created this year, not really this year, but we made this quarter, we can see that that's the 50%. So if price can trade down to this order block, it's actually at the discounted portion of the range. So we could see a tap into the discount and back to the previous day high. This is all I see right now. If you have any suggestions, if you have any charts you'd like me to check out, please let me know in the comment section below. Right now I don't see anything solid until Thursday, so I'll probably give an intra-week update at that point and give you something more clear. But at the moment, I would say preserve your capital, stay safe, good luck and good trading.